Okay. Good morning. Parsha Emor. Parsha Emor deals, amongst other things, with a great mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem, of giving up one's life for the sake of sanctification of Hashem's name. What we call Lamut al Kiddush Hashem, or we speak about Mesirut Nefesh. So, it's unbelievable, but people ask, so what's the difference, lahavdil elef alfei havdalot, to be mavdil between a tamei v'atahor, between a suicide bomber and who's prepared to give up his life for his ideals, quote unquote, and a person who L'havdil, as I say, elef alfei havdalot, a person who gives up his life on Kiddush Hashem. There's a lot of differences, a lot of differences, and some of the differences we'll just express like this. I say there's many. I just wanted to maybe emphasize 3 or 4. The main difference is that, of course, anyone who passes away on Kiddush Hashem, he does it not as an act of initiative. It's not that a person goes and commits suicide. When confronted with a choice, whether to keep the Torah or Khalila, not keep the Torah, to convert, not to convert, then the person faced with that situation, and the person gives himself on Kiddush Hashem. But it's not that he initiates suicide. Controversially, we actually notice something which is amazing. Now we're in the Talmud, we speak about those people who committed suicide on Masada. Well, why not? And my rabbi used to say that was the Talmud's way of a protest, to go and kill people even on suicide, even on one's own children. So therefore, but on the other hand, the situation is very desperate. So the way that the Chachamei of the Talmud, they related to such a thing was that they kept quiet. They didn't mention, they didn't say yes, they didn't say no. That was like a silent protest. So that's the first big difference. It's not that people go and kill others with themselves. That's the one difference. And the other difference is that exactly that the people who were Mosei Nefesh, they Mosei Nefesh for themselves and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They never Mosei Nefesh at the expense of other people. The people who gave up their lives throughout history. We're not speaking about the case of Shimshon, where there it was like in an act of war, but that we're speaking about generally the whole population who gave their lives on Kiddush Hashem. They never did it in the case of committing suicide together with other innocent civilians. So the Kiddush Hashem was between them and Hashem, not a Kiddush Hashem, but not a matter of committing suicide at the expense of other innocent people. The third difference is that just the whole notion of Kiddush Hashem. The Kiddush Hashem, a suicide bomber wants to be a suicide bomber and then to merit 70 virgins. There isn't such a thing as Yadut. The whole inyan of Mesirut Nefesh is that a person does it for no reward whatsoever, but only for the greater glory of God. Not even to get Olam Haba. And that's what Rav Kook, in his famous words, he used to say that what do we call the mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem? We call it Mesirut Nefesh. We don't call it Mesirut Aguf, the giving of the body. We call it Mesirut Nefesh, the giving of the soul. He says a true Talmid Chacham, a true person who is an Oved Hashem, what he does is he gives of his Olam Haba, his own personal Olam Haba and reward, for the greater sake of Hashem and his Torah. Many times, the people who are Gdolim, they could, for example, engage they could develop themselves in a greater way. They could learn more. They could do things for their own benefit more. They could get a greater share in Olam Haba. But they do what they have to do at their own expense for the greater sake of Hashem's glory. So there's no such a concept of person, of Kiddush Hashem, I'm speaking about. Person who gives up his life for the sake of Hashem and not for the sake of getting Olam Haba. That's exactly the difference. That's what makes the mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem so great. And that's why the Rambam says in Hilchot Yesodei Torah, the Rambam says that, you know what a great form of Kiddush Hashem is? Any person who does a mitzvah for the sake of Hashem, not to get any reward, and not because he fears any punishment, and not to get even Olam Haba, that person is a Mekadesh Hashem Shemayim. The Rambam says, what's the example of that? Yosef. When Yosef resisted the seduction of Potiphar's wife, there was no one over there to see, there was no audience, and he did it not because he wanted to get Olam Haba, not because he was interested in 70 virgins, not because he's interested in getting extra spirituality. He did it because this is the right, correct thing to do, which Hashem commanded. And this is therefore the essence of the Kiddush Hashem. The Kiddush Hashem is to live for the Kiddush Hashem, not at the expense of others. And the Kiddush Hashem is not for any reward, even if it's a spiritual reward, but only for the greater glory of sanctifying Hashem's name. These are some of the differences, the major differences that one can't even mention them in the same breath between a shahid who's tamei to a person who's Kodesh Shem Shemayim, right, for the sake of HaKadosh Baruch Hu.